this might be the most important message you hear today, because right now, without even realizing it, your thinking is deciding the size of your future, your income, your confidence, your success, and even your happiness. And the truth is, most people are not failing because they are not talented. They are failing because they are thinking too small. They are limiting themselves. They're shrinking their dreams before even trying. And if you continue thinking the same way you are thinking right now, your life will not change. But what if I tell you that in the next few minutes, you can completely change the direction of your life just by changing one thing, your thinking? Because success is not about intelligence. It is not about luck. It is not about background. It is about how big you think. And today, I'm going to take you deep inside one of the most powerful mindset-changing books ever written, The Magic of Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz, a book that has transformed millions of lives by teaching a simple but life-changing idea that if you learn to think big, you can achieve big. And if you keep thinking small, you will stay small no matter how hard you work. So if you truly want to change your life, listen carefully till the end, because what you are about to hear is not just motivation, it is a blueprint for success. And it starts with one powerful truth, that belief is the foundation of everything. Because when you believe you can do something, your mind automatically starts finding ways to make it happen. But when you believe you cannot do it, your mind immediately finds reasons, excuses, and limitations to stop you. And that is why most people live average lives, not because they are incapable, but because they don't believe they are capable. They underestimate themselves, they doubt themselves, they compare themselves, and slowly they convince themselves that they are not meant for something big. But here is the reality. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room to succeed. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need a perfect plan. You only need one thing, belief. Because belief creates power. Belief creates action. Belief creates results. And when you start believing in yourself, you start acting differently. You start taking risks. You start stepping out of your comfort zone. And that is where real growth begins. But the biggest enemy of belief is something that almost everyone has, and that is excuses. And in this book, it is called excusitis, the disease of excuses. And this disease is dangerous because it feels real, it sounds logical, and it keeps you stuck without you even realizing it. People say, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I am not educated enough, I am too young, I am too old, I am not lucky. But these are not real problems. These are mental barriers. And as long as you keep believing these excuses, you will never move forward, because your mind always follows what you tell it. If you say, I can't, your mind says, okay, and stops trying. But if you say, I can, your mind says how, and starts searching for solutions. And that is the difference between winners and losers. Winners focus on possibilities. Losers focus on problems. Winners take responsibility. Losers make excuses. And if you truly want to change your life, you have to eliminate excuses completely. You have to train your mind to reject every limiting thought and replace it with a powerful belief. Because your life is a reflection of your thinking. And if you upgrade your thinking, your life will automatically upgrade. But thinking big is not just about dreaming big. It is about acting big. It is about setting goals that scare you, goals that excite you, goals that force you to grow. Because small goals do not inspire action. Small goals do not create energy. Small goals keep you comfortable, and comfort is the biggest enemy of success, because nothing extraordinary ever happens in the comfort zone. If you want extraordinary results, you need extraordinary thinking, and that starts by asking yourself a simple but powerful question. What would I do if I knew I could not fail? Because the only thing stopping you is fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of judgment. But here's the truth. Fear is not real. It is created by your mind. And the only way to destroy fear is through action. Because action cures fear. The more you act, the more confident you become. The more confident you become, the bigger you think. And the bigger you think, the bigger you achieve. But most people never reach this stage because they wait. They wait for the right time. They wait for the right opportunity. They wait until they feel ready. But the truth is, you will never feel ready, and the right time will never come. You have to create it. You have to act now, because action is what separates successful people from average people. Successful people do not wait. They start, they learn, they improve, and they keep moving forward no matter what, and that is why they win. And another powerful lesson from this book is that your environment shapes your thinking more than anything else. The people you spend time with, the conversations you have, the content you consume, everything influences your mindset. And if you are surrounded by negative people, people who complain, people who doubt, people who think small, then no matter how hard you try, your thinking will shrink, your confidence will drop, and your growth will stop. But if you surround yourself with positive, ambitious, growth-oriented people, your thinking will automatically expand, your confidence will increase, and your results will improve. Because success is contagious, just like negativity is contagious. And that is why you have to be very careful about who you allow into your life, because your future is being shaped by your present environment. And if you want a better future, you need a better environment. But the most important environment is not outside, it is inside your mind, because your thoughts control everything. Your thoughts control your emotions control your actions, and your actions control your results. So if you want better results, you need better thoughts, and that means you need to start thinking like a leader, because leaders think differently. Leaders do not blame circumstances, they take responsibility. Leaders do not wait for opportunities, they create them. Leaders do not think small, they think big. And if you start thinking like a leader, even before you become one, your life will start changing immediately, because your mindset will shift from limitation to possibility, from fear to confidence, from doubt to belief. And that is the real magic of thinking big. It is not just about success, it is about transformation. It is about becoming a completely different version of yourself, a version that is confident, bold, fearless, and unstoppable. And once you become that person, success is not something you chase, it is something that follows you automatically.
And once you reach that point where your thinking starts expanding, where you stop doubting yourself and start trusting your abilities, something powerful begins to happen. You start seeing opportunities where others see problems. You start taking actions that others are too afraid to take. And slowly, step by step, your life begins to move in a completely different direction. Because the truth is, success is not a sudden event. It is a gradual process that starts in the mind and then reflects in reality. And that is why David J. Schwartz emphasizes again and again that you must learn to manage your thinking. Because your mind is like a powerful machine. It will work for you or against you, depending on how you use it. And most people unknowingly use it against themselves by constantly feeding it negativity, doubt, and fear. They replay their failures, they worry about what others will think, they focus on what could go wrong instead of what could go right, and as a result, they create a mental environment that blocks growth and success. But if you want to think big, you have to discipline your mind. You have to train it to focus on positive possibilities. You have to replace every negative thought with a constructive one, because big thinking requires a positive mindset. It requires confidence. It requires courage. And these qualities are not given to you. They are built through consistent mental practice. And one of the most practical ways to do this is by controlling your internal dialogue, the way you talk to yourself every single day. Because whether you realize it or not, you are constantly having conversations in your mind. And these conversations are shaping your beliefs, your confidence, and your actions. So if your inner voice keeps saying you are not good enough, you will start believing it. But if your inner voice starts saying you are capable, you are improving, you are getting better every day, your belief system will change. And when your belief system changes, your behavior changes. And when your behavior changes, your results change. And that is how transformation happens. But there is another trap that stops people from thinking big, and that is the habit of thinking small about themselves, underestimating their potential, comparing themselves with others, and feeling inferior. And this is dangerous because when you see yourself as small, you act small. You settle for less. You avoid risks. You stay in your comfort zone, and you miss out on opportunities that could change your life. And that is why the book teaches you to build a strong self-image, because how you see yourself determines how far you will go. If you see yourself as average, you will live an average life. But if you see yourself as someone capable of achieving great things, your actions will align with that belief, and slowly your reality will start matching your vision. And this is not imagination, this is psychology, because your mind always tries to make your reality consistent with your beliefs. So if you believe you are destined for something bigger, your mind will push you in that direction. It will encourage you to take actions, it will give you the courage to face challenges, and it will help you persist even when things get difficult. And this brings us to another powerful idea from the magic of thinking big, which is that success is not about avoiding problems, it is about learning how to deal with them. Because no matter how big you think, no matter how confident you become, challenges will come, obstacles will appear, failures will happen. But the difference is how you respond to them. Average people get discouraged. They quit. They blame circumstances. But big thinkers see problems as opportunities. They see challenges as lessons. They see failures as feedback. And that is why they keep growing while others stay stuck. Because every problem contains a hidden opportunity, but only those who think big can see it. And this mindset shift is what separates extraordinary people from ordinary people. It is not their intelligence, it is not their background, it is their perspective, the way they interpret situations, the way they respond to difficulties, and the way they keep moving forward no matter what. And if you want to develop this mindset, you need to start asking yourself better questions, because the quality of your life depends on the quality of your questions. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" start asking, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of asking, "Why am I not successful?" start asking, "What can I do to improve?" Because when you ask empowering questions, your mind starts searching for empowering answers. And this keeps you in control. This keeps you focused. And this keeps you moving forward. And another important lesson from the book is that you must learn to think and act like important people, not in an egoistic way, but in a respectful and confident way. Because the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you behave, all of it reflects your self-image, and people treat you the way you treat yourself. So if you treat yourself as someone important, others will start seeing you that way too. But if you treat yourself as unimportant, others will do the same. And this is why you must develop the habit of thinking like a leader, speaking with confidence, acting with purpose, and maintaining a positive attitude. Because these small changes create a big impact over time. And as you continue this journey of thinking big, you will realize that success is not just about achieving goals. It is about becoming a better version of yourself. It is about growing mentally, emotionally, and personally. It is about breaking your limitations and expanding your potential. And the more you grow, the more you realize that there are no limits except the ones you create in your mind. Because your mind is the most powerful tool you have. And if you learn how to use it correctly, there is nothing you cannot achieve. But if you let it control you with fear, doubt, and negativity, you will remain stuck no matter how much potential you have. And that is why you must take control of your thinking starting today. Not tomorrow, not someday, but right now. Because every moment you delay, you are delaying your success, you are delaying your growth, and you are delaying the life you deserve. So make a decision right now that you will no longer think small. You will no longer limit yourself. You will no longer believe in excuses. You will start thinking big, acting big, and living big, because that is the only way to create an extraordinary life. And once you commit to this path, you will start noticing changes, small changes at first, but powerful enough to shift your direction. And those small changes will eventually lead to big results, because big success always starts with small, consistent actions driven by big thinking.
And as these small, consistent actions begin to compound, something incredible starts happening within you. You no longer wait for motivation, you create it. You no longer depend on external validation, you build internal confidence. And slowly, you begin to realize that the real transformation was never outside. It was always happening inside your mind. Because when your thinking changes, your perception changes. And when your perception changes, your entire reality shifts. And this is where most people fail to understand the real power of thinking big. They assume it is just about dreaming bigger goals, but in reality, it is about developing a mindset that refuses to accept limitations, a mindset that constantly searches for growth, improvement, and expansion. And this is exactly what David J. Schwartz wanted to teach through the magic of thinking big. That your environment, your circumstances, your past, none of these define your future. What defines your future is how you think right now and what actions you take based on that thinking. Because every big achievement that you see in this world was once just a thought in someone's mind, a thought that refused to stay small, a thought that was nurtured, developed, and acted upon until it became reality. And that is exactly what you need to do. You need to protect your thoughts, you need to nurture them, and you need to act on them without letting fear or doubt destroy them. Because the moment you allow negative thinking to dominate your mind, you start shrinking your potential, you start lowering your expectations, and you start settling for less than what you are truly capable of achieving. And one of the most dangerous habits that causes this is the habit of overthinking problems. People spend hours thinking about what could go wrong. They imagine worst-case scenarios. They create fear in their minds, and as a result, they never take action. But successful people do the opposite. They think about solutions. They focus on opportunities. They ask themselves, how can this work, instead of why this won't work? And that simple shift in thinking creates a massive difference in results. Because your mind works like a magnet, it attracts whatever you focus on. If you focus on problems, you will see more problems. If you focus on opportunities, you will see more opportunities. And that is why you must train your mind to focus on what you want, not on what you fear. Because what you focus on grows. And this principle applies to every area of your life, whether it is your career, your relationships, your health, or your personal growth. The more you think positively and constructively, the better your results will be. But this does not mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to respond to reality in a powerful way. It means choosing to see challenges as temporary and solvable instead of permanent and overwhelming. And this mindset is what gives you the strength to keep going even when things get tough. Because no journey to success is easy. There will be setbacks, there will be failures, there will be moments when you feel like giving up. But those moments are not there to stop you. They are there to test you, to make you stronger, to prepare you for something bigger. And if you can keep your thinking strong during those moments, if you can keep believing in yourself even when results are not visible, that is when you truly start thinking big. Because thinking big is not just about success. It is about resilience. It is about persistence. It is about having the mental strength to continue even when everything around you is telling you to stop. And this is where discipline becomes important. Because motivation is temporary. It comes and goes. But discipline keeps you moving forward. Discipline keeps you consistent. And consistency is what turns small actions into big results. And when you combine discipline with big thinking, you create a powerful formula for success. Because now you are not just dreaming, you are doing. You are not just hoping, you are working. And that is what separates dreamers from achievers. Dreamers only imagine success. Achievers take action towards it every single day, no matter how small that action may be. Because they understand that progress is more important than perfection. And this is another important lesson from the book, that you should not wait for perfect conditions to start, because perfect conditions do not exist. If you keep waiting for everything to be perfect, you will never begin. And if you never begin, you will never succeed. So instead of waiting, start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. Because action creates clarity, action creates confidence, and action creates momentum. And once you build momentum, it becomes easier to keep going, easier to stay consistent, and easier to achieve your goals. But along this journey, you must also learn to handle criticism. Because whenever you start thinking big and doing something different, people will judge you, people will doubt you, they will try to pull you back to their level, not because they hate you, but because they are uncomfortable with your growth. They are used to thinking small, and when they see you thinking big, it challenges their beliefs. And that is why you must not let other people's opinions control your actions. Because if you live according to others' expectations, you will never live your true potential. You must learn to trust yourself, to believe in your vision, and to keep moving forward regardless of what others say. Because at the end of the day, it is your life, your journey, and your responsibility to make it extraordinary. And this requires courage, the courage to be different, the courage to take risks, and the courage to fail. Because failure is not the opposite of success, it is a part of success. Every successful person you admire has failed multiple times, but the difference is they didn't let failure define them. They used it as a stepping stone. They learned from it, they grew from it, and they kept going. And that is exactly what you need to do. You need to change your relationship with failure. Instead of fearing it, embrace it. Because every failure brings you one step closer to success. And the more you fail, the more you learn, the more you improve, and the stronger you become. And when you combine this mindset with big thinking, there is nothing that can stop you. Because now you are not just dreaming, you are unafraid to try. You are not afraid to take action, and you are not afraid to chase your dreams. And that is the mindset that creates extraordinary results. The mindset that turns ordinary people into successful individuals. And as you continue to grow with this mindset, you will start noticing that your goals are becoming bigger, your vision is expanding, and your confidence is increasing. Because once you break the barrier of small thinking, there is no limit to how far you can go. And that is the true power of thinking big. It removes limits, it creates possibilities, and it transforms your life in ways you never imagined.
If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like it. And for more such powerful and life-changing content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay happy, stay safe, and keep working on yourself.